So for those of you guys that have not seen the news yet, Blizzard Entertainment has just revealed the next patch for World of Warcraft: The War Within, and it's not exactly what you might be thinking it's going to be. Rather than it being a patch that focuses on Xalatath and the continuation of the story, this patch is actually going to be a celebration of World of Warcraft's 20th anniversary, and also Warcraft's 30th anniversary. Most likely you guys already know what's coming, but for those that don't, we're going to go over it really quick, but real fast. We do have to thank this channel's sponsor, Zygor. Zygor is World of Warcraft's ultimate add-on for War Within Classic WoW. Whether it's getting more gold, getting mounts, pets, leveling faster, Zygor is the ultimate guide add-on, and they are linked down below in the description. I know that there's a lot of you guys probably sitting there at the moment thinking, you know, I don't play War Within, I don't care about War Within, all I care about is Classic WoW. And I think that Blizzard really understood that potential plight, because a lot of what they decided to do for the 20th anniversary patch is actually Classic WoW related, starting with Blackrock Mountain. So raise your hand if you guys remember Blackrock Depths, that giant titanically sized city that Blizzard called a dungeon. Well, guess what, everybody? In this next new patch, Blackrock Depths is turning into a raid. As you can see from the footage right now, Blackrock Depths is going to be a 10 to 15 player raid in the next patch, bringing back a lot of iconic bosses. However, you can see in the footage here that they have Ragnaros making an appearance in the raid. I almost said dungeon, but Ragnaros shows up, so I guess we're gonna see him maybe as the final boss of the raid. I mean, I don't know, I guess we're gonna find out. So this is cool. We have the first War Within raid to look forward to, and then, you know, here comes Blackrock Depths as yet another raid. But I know what you're all thinking. You're probably sitting there like, man, does this mean we're just gonna be doing Blackrock Depths all over again for that like crappy vanilla gear from all those years ago? My friends, Blizzard has decided to update all of the tier 2 armor sets from Classic WoW. Check this out. You've got the Retribution Paladin set that everybody loves. Look at these, like the Warlock set, like everything. Dude, tier 2, fully updated, looks like modern day gear. I think it looks fantastic. And for those of you guys that, you know, you're playing a Death Knight, like me, for example, in the War Within, a Demon Hunter, a Monk, you know, classes that didn't exist back in Classic WoW, Blizzard has created this sort of new armor set that, you know, kind of looks like an updated Classic WoW-ish armor set, tier 2. It's kind of the vibe they were going for, you know, but this is cool. You know, like I was thinking of leveling a Paladin in the War Within. It was very tempting. And now it's like, oh man, like they're gonna re-release Paladin tier 2. Like now I have to do it. I feel like obligated, so that's cool. In honor of Classic WoW as well, you guys remember the War of the Shifting Sands event? Well, it's sort of kind of coming back. Blizzard has teased that apparently Chromie is going to be doing this thing down in Silithus. You can go down there and there's all these bosses that have appeared from Classic WoW going up to Wrath of the Lich King. You can even fight Kel'Thuzad, you know, it's like these big world bosses and stuff. And there's just like this big War of the Shifting Sands themed event going on down in Silithus. And from what I'm understanding from the video, you're also going to be able to get a currency that you can then spend later on some special gear and special stuff, but we'll talk about that in 1 second. Blizzard's also doing time walking dungeons for Classic WoW. We're gonna get to do Dead Mines, we're gonna get to do Zul'Farrak, we're gonna get to do Dire Maul and Strathholm. I think this is really cool, but I do admit I wish that we could have done a time walking Shadowfang Keep. I just love Shadowfang Keep as a dungeon, but you know, haunted forest in the woods full of werewolves with an evil sorcerer at the top of the tower. I mean, it's like classic fantasy, you know what I mean? Like it's like a D&D adventure. So I love me some Shadowfang Keep. What can I say? The point is, we're gonna get to do some time walking dungeons in these old Classic WoW dungeons, and so that's gonna be cool. Just getting some gear and, you know, getting some like currency and stuff from killing old bosses. Next, talking about more, I guess, modern-ish things. First of all, if you are a Drakthir player, Blizzard is finally going to give you new classes that you can be other than Evoker. So Drakthir, my friends, you guys can finally play as hunters, as rogues, priests, mages, warriors, or warlocks, and of course Evokers in this patch. So if you're somebody that you're a big fan of Drakthir, dude, you guys are getting some love. And if you're someone that you're not a big fan of Drakthir because maybe you don't really like the Evoker class, maybe you're like me, I'm not the biggest fan of the class, it's not my favorite. Well, at least now we finally have other options when playing the Drakthir. So I personally think the idea of playing like a Drakthir mage sounds really cool, but that's just my opinion. Shamans, you guys are getting brand new Ascendance forms in this patch. Check out these things, dude. They're all themed after like the different elements, water, fire, and so on. And we're also getting like this big party, this sort of almost Dark Moon Fair-esque party that's happening outside of Caverns of Time in this patch. So you can see in the video, there's a lot of things to do. Some really simple stuff like, oh, you can skate on ice and you can turn into your non-combat pet and like run around and stuff. Of course, there's going to be new things that you can get. You know, I mentioned currency earlier in the video. You collect this currency from, you know, I guess doing the stuff over in Silithus, maybe doing the new raid, you know, whatever. And then you can spend it on transmog stuff, toys, mounts, you know, whatever that's coming in this new patch. And of course, this is where you would do it at. There's also a bunch of little events that you can do at this celebratory station outside of Caverns of Time. There's like a transmog sort of event called Fashion Frenzy, where you can show off your transmogs and people can, you know, vote on who, like, you know, most adheres to the theme and stuff. There's a storyteller event where you can learn some lore from Lore Walker Cho, a mount off competition called Mount Mania where you can show off all the mounts that you've collected over the years. There's a costume cosplay thing where you can transform into your favorite lore characters and run around and yell at people saying you are not prepared as Illidan. There's even like some riddle events and stuff, just, you know, little flavorful things, you know, something that you're probably not going to spend that much time, you know, playing around with, but just little things to do once you fly into this area and maybe you're spending that currency on, you know, a new piece of transmog or a new pet or something, just little things like that. We got some really cool blue mounts like this blue Phoenix, which I'm assuming is meant to be like a homage to TBC. You know, you get the Ashes of Alar, but this is like the blue icy version. Reminds me of Articuno from Pokemon, for those of you guys that know about that. They mentioned, I believe, that you get some reskins of some older mounts in this patch. And then for the Warcraft 30th anniversary, you actually can get these back transmog pieces of just the various racial sigils from Warcraft 3, representing the orcs, the humans, the night elves, and of course the Scourge. I think the Scourge one looks really cool, although it's kind of weird having this like tiny sword on your back. But in my opinion, one of the coolest things that is coming in this event, and this isn't anything grand or mind-blowing what I'm about to talk about, but it's just like just a neat little thing that Blizzard decided to do. At Blizzard Entertainment, you are rewarded with a sword and a shield after 20 years of veterancy with the company. And so one of the things that they've done with this event is the World of Warcraft developers have actually taken the sword and shield thing that you can get at Blizzard Entertainment if you're an employee, and they've turned it into actual in-game items that you can get, like, you know, these transmoggable items that you can purchase during this event. You're not like a Blizzard employee, but, you know, you've got the veterancy, so you're rewarded with the sword and the shield, you know, the same thing a Blizzard employee would get for working in the company. And I thought that was a neat little thing. You know, it's kind of like establishing a sort of relationship or synergy, or I don't even know the word for it, between like the players and the developers to show like, hey, you know, we're all fans of World of Warcraft. You know, we've all been invested in this world, whether we're working on it, like building it, or we're playing in it, or making content about it, or like whatever, you know, we're all the World of Warcraft community. And so I thought that was really cool. Just a neat little thing that Blizzard did. That's pretty much it. I might have forgotten something off the top of my head. And of course, the official Blizzard video goes into more detail about all these things. So I highly recommend you check it out. I'll link it down below in the description. Guys, thank you for watching though. I hope you guys are enjoying The War Within. More videos coming soon. And yeah, I guess I'll see you guys in the 20th anniversary of World of Warcraft.